found this PDF plan of a coastal rowing boat. I had the frame profiles printed up, and I'm going to trace it out using Trace. First thing we'll do here is select the 4 points to define my work area. Shown here, I'm touching those 4 corners of the paper diagram. The first frame that we're going to trace out is frame number 5. First program command I'll use is the arc command, and then I'll switch over to the curve fit command. Probably be using the arc command, the curve fit command, and the line command to trace out all these frames. The important part here is after I trace out each frame, I save each frame as a separate file. So this will be frame number 5. Also, it's important here to keep track of what you've traced and where you've started and where you stopped, and that's why I use that red pencil. Now we're going to trace out frame number 4. Same idea. We'll use the arc command, the curve fit command, and save your work. I save each frame tracing as a DXF file because I'll be using a CNC to cut out these frames. The PDF file I found on this coastal rowing boat was interesting because it showed all the frames on one PDF file. I had the PDF diagram printed twice. And then I had the second copy that was printed in reverse like a mirror image, and then I cut them in half. Then I just taped one of those halves to the other side, and that's how I got a complete frame number 1 or a complete frame number 5. Now I'll be tracing out frame number 2. You're also starting to see there where I'm really starting to use that red pencil. Because of the detailed diagram, you got to really keep track of where you are. It can easily get mixed up, get on the wrong frame. The tracing is really easy because you can select that arc command and the curve fit command so quickly. Again, just a reminder, I'm saving each frame separately as a DXF file. Now I'll be starting to trace frame number 1. And again, we'll start off with the arc command and then go over to the curve fit. There's going to be about 11 frame profiles. And I'll be cutting each one of these profiles out of 1/2-inch plywood. Now I'll be starting to trace out frame number 5. And again, I'll be using the arc command and then switching over to the curve fit and saving my file. Again, I always mention the size of my diagrams. The larger the diagram, the easier it is to trace. These are full-size diagrams to the frames I'll be cutting. Okay, so this completes the tracing of frame 1 to 5, including point 5. Now I'll be tracing the transom right up to frame number 11. Shown here, I'm tracing out the transom frame. Same thing again, I'll be using the curve fit, except this time I'll be using the line command because it's flat on top. Again, you'll see I'm using that red pencil to keep track of what I'm tracing and where I stop. I find it amazing how quick the tracing goes because it's so easy to make those selections. The curve fit and the line command. And again, I save each frame separately as a DXF file. Now we're tracing out frame number 9. You can see there where I had to keep track of where I was because the lines were getting pretty close. And again, the curve fit command and the line command. Use the line command twice there because there's a little bit of an angle. Here I'm starting frame number 10. Again, I'll be selecting curve fit and the line command. And again, saving my work, saving it as a DXF file. So now I'll be tracing out frame number 11, or the outer frame. That's the last frame we have to trace. This time I use the arc command and the curve fit. I had the boat profile printed out because that would help me locate the frames. This fit nicely on the jumbo boards. Here I'm using Vectric Aspire to lay out my parts and do the nesting, and also to create the toolpath to cut out the frames. I'm also going to run this toolpath through the simulator, just see how the parts cut out. This is the rolling boat profile that I had printed out, and this is what I used to locate the frames. So all those lines going up and down, that's the frame locations. Also ran this to the simulator just to see how it's going to look. Shown here, I've fastened down the half-inch sheet of plywood to the CNC slave table. I'm using a 1/4-inch carbide end mill, running about 19,000 RPM and about a feed rate of 60 inches per minute. The cut went well, smooth, and when I was finished cutting, I started to remove all the profile frames. Then started the assembly. The only trouble I had was getting around that boat length of 19 foot 6 inches. Once the boat was glued and clamped, the frame was very strong. So now it's ready for sheeting and some fiberglass.